A player was notified by his friends one day that a game called Omega Strikers announced their plans for the future of the game. He noticed that his friends had played this game in the past, so he downloaded it to not miss out on the Omega Strikers experience. He set a reasonable goal for himself: beat his friends in a race to reach Platinum in a competitive game mode. His determination and skills alone will allow him to reach great heights, but he would soon realize that his journey had only just begun. He would embark on a 1-month journey to surpass his expectations and witness the peak of his Omega Strikers career. And that player was me. My journey to climb the Challenger wasn't easy. I experienced growth and accomplishment, but also experienced frustration and dejection. I hope that this journey will encourage you to give Omega Strikers a try or another chance if you already played Omega Strikers in the past. I also hope that my experience serves as a guide to new players who want to learn how to play Omega Strikers and how to improve their gameplay. With that said, this is a story of how my Omega Strikers journey began and how I climbed the Challenger in 1 month. On November 3rd, one of my friends posted a screenshot on our Discord server showing that he and 2 of my friends, who all just started playing competitively, were on their way to overtake 2 of my other friends. This encouraged a competition between friends and gave them a reason to hop back on Omega Strikers. Seeing this, I was curious enough to try the game for myself after talking about it in our voice chat, and past midnight of the next day, I started my Omega Strikers journey. Before I played my first ever match, I had to decide on which of the 4 free characters I was going to play and practice with: Juliet, Kai, Dubu, or Aimi. My friends suggested that I play Kai because his kit was simple and effective: shoot fireballs in a straight line and run fast. So I queued up norms with a friend and played some matches. It was pretty hard to watch. I barely saved any barriers or goals when I was a goalie, and I couldn't break barriers or score much when I was a forward. I didn't enjoy Kai's kit as much because I felt like it was easy to miss the core with his abilities and couldn't get the core back to me when I lost control of it. I asked my friends if there was a character that has a teleporting or dash ability so I can control the core before my opponents could. Luckily for me, there were a couple of characters that could do such a thing, and the one that happened to be available within my very small roster was Aimi. To summarize Aimi's kit, Aimi's primary is a slow projectile that grows in size until recast or max range. Aimi's secondary allows her to teleport to a location within range and hit enemies in an arc. Her special creates a turret that fires projectiles in a straight line up to 5 times. After reading and understanding Aimi's kit, me and my friend queued back for a match, and I immediately found success playing Aimi. I knew right there and then that this is going to be the character I will practice with to improve my gameplay. And knowing that in ranked you will need to have backup characters in case your main character is taken away, I had Kai reserved for those situations. The footage you're about to see is the first fully recorded match I had saved, showing a glimpse of my day 1 experience. Here's how it went.
Oh, thought you had it.
Cut your replays out.
Oh no! Why did I do that? Oh my god. Oh my god, I thought you had. I thought you had it. Oh shoot.
My father. That's my life.
No. That's why you. That's why you, bro.
First. Oh, I got MVP too?
Yeah. I don't know how I got it.
Dude, that was so clutch at the end.
Yeah, that's crazy. Oh no, he got MVP still.
Yeah.
I was satisfied with that match despite it being very stressful at the end, so I hopped off for a night and got some rest. I played more norms in the afternoon to practice playing Aimi and Kai. This would also prepare me for my first of many ranked matches the next day. Considering my 1-digit account level, I was very impressed with what I managed to pull off.
Nice catch. Oh my god, that one it's so cracked. Oh, it's cracked. It's so cracked. It's so cracked.
Thanks for fun. That's right. You assist me now.
Aimi's kick gave me much needed control over the court, and as a result, I was promoted to silver. I was now a couple of games away from overtaking my friend leaderboard, but I wanted to go further beyond. To do that, I had my sights on gold. It didn't take long before I did just that. Because you're rewarded heavily for winning matches and lost little points for losing in low elo, I was able to rapidly climb the ranks, and I was very confident I could reach platinum with enough experience. It was only just a matter of time. this point, I was 50 points away from reaching Platinum. I continued the grind as usual, and after winning another match, I received my first friend request. Officer Bo and the V card from the previous match invited me to their group and commended me for my performance. They had some suspicion that I was a smurf, but I convinced them that this is a real account after sharing the details of my experience to them. We proceeded to play another match and reverse swept with 3-2. The next match was going to be my promotion to Platinum, so I had to do my best to show I was worthy of this rank.
That was good, right?
John Smith.
Yo, why is it so cool?
Oh,
In 5 days, I had climbed from Rookie to Platinum after 41 wins. For an account that's level 14, reaching Plat is a crazy achievement. I had accomplished my goal and believed I could stop here for good and move on to another game. But the game was really fun, and I felt like I had a lot of room to improve. Because it didn't take long for me to climb from Gold to Plat, I thought I might as well try climbing to Diamond, the next rank tier. Winning a match in Plat still outweighs losing a match, but not by much. And that reasoning is enough to motivate me to continue playing Omega Strikers and test my limits. During my half-day break from playing Omega Strikers, I was curious to see how the YouTube scene for the game was doing, and there I found a couple of videos about the character I made. Each video showed their mastery of Aimee, further inspiring me to improve on my own gameplay. I learned some interesting tricks from TKS Hockey's video in particular, some of which I had inadvertently pulled off. Here is what I learned from watching these videos. Let's start off with Aimee's primary, the Glitch Pop. As previously stated, this projectile hits enemies away from its center point, and this mechanic alone makes it very versatile. It allows you to hit the core from any angle depending on where you launch the projectile and when you recast it. It allows you to hit the core from any angle depending on where you launch the projectile and when you recast it. You can think of this projectile as a player's strike since it's omnidirectional. The projectile faces through walls, enemy players, and the core, enabling you to make certain plays without the projectile getting body blocked or interrupted. Its growth in size the further it travels makes it easier to stun the enemy and hit the core at the same time, preventing the enemy from striking back very briefly. While this was all things I had learned prior to reaching Plat, Hockey showed a trick that intrigued me. The redirect shot. By striking and launching the projectile at the same time, you can cause the core to change direction mid-air. You can use this to pass to teammates around obstacles or opponents, or break barriers and score at a different angle. Hockey mentioned that this trick could be very inconsistent and might not be worth learning, but I found an easy solution to this. If you were to strike the core in front of you and launch the projectile right after, the projectile's slow movement speed will not catch up with the core, failing the trick. This is why you have to launch the projectile first before striking it to make the angle shot. This method is most likely why they consider this trick inconsistent. However, if you were to strike the core when it's behind you, the trick becomes much more consistent. This is taking advantage of the fact that the core decelerates the longer it travels without intervention. This small change in direction allows enough travel distance for the projectile to make an angled shot. You can adjust the launch angle of the projectile to make your desired redirect shot faster. This method works for me personally, but I had a friend who preferred to use the former method instead, so use whichever one that works for you. With all this in mind, here are all the possible applications I can think of using the glitch pop. Of course, how you implement these into your gameplay fully depends on your situation, whether it be the map you're given, the enemies you face, or the awakenings you choose. A core feature of the game I'll explain in a future section. Ivy's secondary, Cyber Swipe, simply hits the core in the direction of the swipe within the arc. Something to note is that you can strike the core immediately after swiping, allowing you to change the direction of the core upon teleporting. This can lead to interesting setups if given the space to do so. Ivy's special, Firewall Sentry, creates a turret that fires up to 5 projectiles in a straight line. You can use this turret to cut off enemy passes or clears and apply more pressure to the barrier or goal. Players can still strike the core through the turret if they time the strikes between projectiles, so don't expect the core to always stay within the turret. Having learned a majority of this information, especially the applications of Ivy's primary, I was excited to try them out in future matches. After taking my break, I hopped back onto ranked and played solo and with a friend in separate sessions.
One step closer to becoming. Aw, what your team is.
Like that? Oh.
Plays like that, I'll be. That one. Thanks for pulling. Now I'm angry.
What? There's if we win this.
Boring like
There we go.
Doesn't matter.
Shoot them.
That might be. I'm excited. Plays like. Don't give up.
After helping my friend climb to gold and playing more matches on my own, I was already making some progress in high platinum. At this point in my journey, I knew that playing enough matches would give me the nice and appealing diamond rank. However, I thought it would be interesting to document a new OS player's experience climbing to Challenger. So I gave myself a final goal for Mega Strikers: promote to Challenger. Around the time of my journey, reaching Challenger would place you amongst the top 2% of players worldwide. This would be an amazing achievement for me if I could do it, so I did my best to maintain a positive mindset. This was the moment where I began saving large replays to document and review this experience. My friends invited me to play ranked in Omega Strikers, and I believe this will be a great way to make the final push to Diamond.
Good. Oh! Big orb! Nice.
Dude, remember I used to be crazy at fucking
Actually, that's true. He had like an uncanny ability to read where it was gonna show up. Oh my god!
Nice.
Nice, that's possible.
Nice, kind of.
Good shit! Nah, okay, we did get the lockdown, that's good. Oh,
get this.
nice! You got that? You got that? Yeah! Good shit! Nice! Ah, come on! Oh! Oh, shit! Nice! Let's go!
Try to use it for ball setups, not killing people.
Yeah. Oh! That was a sick mix-up! Oh, come on! My bad.
Keep there.
You guys got it, nice! What was that, actually? What was the Juno defending? How did the Juno... Okay.
Okay.
Nice, good double hit. Wait, that's huge, that's huge! Good shit! I missed. Oh, they couldn't even react! Nice. Allegedly. Oh, wow. Oh! Oh no! What happened? What happened? That was 3 seconds! Yeah, that's really good. Hold on, I got this. Okay, never mind, didn't need it. Got
You got
this.
it.
I don't got it. That's not bad at all.
That's still ages.
Oh no! Oh, nice. Careful, careful. Ah, the turret's too good. You're right. That's just scary. What? Okay, that was scary as shit.
Let's go.
Nice. I'm too slow. Oh my god! Oh, you touched it.
She referenced it.
One laser. There you go. It works. It works. We salvaged it. All right, lasers up. Oh. Sucks. Oh, the one hit from the sentry. I can't get it. I can't get it. We got somebody. Set up a sentry. Let's grab this. Oh, what? Yeah, thank God. Nice. GG's! Promoted, there it is. Congrats, congrats, Kenneth. And we lost no games tonight, right?
Actually, no, we lost one game.
Nuh-uh.
That one, Nathan, it's all your fault.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah. Damn it, Kenneth is all fucking.
No! They're too big. Yeah, you're too big. We get a large difference in skill between teammates and your pre-made. There wasn't a large difference before?
Climbing to Diamond came at a great price. Because the rank gap is too high, I would gain very little points if I compete with my friends. My friends unfortunately didn't have the time to attempt to close the gap, so I was forced to continue my Omega Strikers journey alone from here on out. Securing Diamond in only 59 wins, I was still confident I can reach Challenger in a short amount of time. I resumed the climb the next day and pressed onward towards the next tier, Mid-Diamond.
I'm dead.
Good score. Alright.
Oh my god, you don't need us.
I still haven't leveled up because I haven't get to touch the 4. Oh wow, what a bomb, Kenneth. Holy.
Oh damn, what an orb.
Mid-Diamond was a bit rough to climb to, but I achieved it after 1.5 days. I was questioned if I was smurfing once again, to which I replied with an explanation. After taking a break for a couple of hours, I jumped back into the comp queues. However, this is where the smooth climb ends. This is the rank that skill checked me on how to play the game. And you might be wondering, well, didn't the tutorial teach you how to play the game? Yes, but only the bare minimum, which was how to score and how to defend. Throughout my journey up until this point, I had climbed the diamond by mastering my character's abilities and making solo plays. There were some fundamental skills I did learn as I played the game, such as using my energy to evade or core flip, but this was just scratching the surface. I need to figure out how Challenger Plus players play Omega Strikers if I want to reach Challenger myself. Luckily, I saved a replay that provided me insight into those plays. First and foremost, to gauge your performance in Omega Strikers, you typically look under the redirect statistic at the end of the match. Redirects are counted based on how many times you interact with the core, either by striking the core or hitting the core with your abilities. You can compare your number of redirects to everyone else's to see how well you played that match. If you have a high redirect count, you have major control over that match and contributed the most to your team. If you have a similar redirect count to one or both of your teammates, you and your teammates had synergy and contributed equally to that match. If you have a low redirect count, you were either beating people up but able to score in the process, or chilling behind your goal zone as you watch your forwards carry the match and make your goalie life easy. But most of the time, a low redirect count means you contributed the least in that match, making you the worst performer. From this scoreboard, you can tell I played very poorly this match despite our team winning the match. Even without knowing this information at the time, I knew my higher elo teammates carried me, so I reviewed this match to understand how they played so I could improve myself. The first fundamental skill I had a basic understanding of during my climb was striking the core after your opponent strikes. If you wait on your opponent and let them strike first, you can strike afterwards and win the 1v1 duel. This is possible because by the time you strike, your opponent's strike will be on cooldown, preventing them from striking again. This interaction is what players typically call a strike war. By winning the strike war, the core moves towards the opponent's side of the field, allowing your team to attack and forcing the opponents to defend. You can use your abilities to turn one strike into two strikes, or multiple strikes, ensuring you would win the strike war. This was the basic level of strike wars I was able to learn during my climb, but there's more depth to it than just striking second. You can strike the core first at a vertical angle to cause the opponent to miss their strike timing on their strike hitbox entirely. If the opponent has the core, you can force the opponent to strike first or away from you by positioning yourself to create a gap between you and your opponent. This allows you enough reaction time to strike back if they attempt to strike past you. There will be many times where it will be impossible to win strike war in your current situation, so the best course of action will be to pass to your teammate, or clear away from the opponents. Even a back pass to your goalie might be necessary if every other option is covered by an enemy team. Now, winning the strike war is very important to move the core forward, but maintaining control of the core is just as important. To maintain control of the core, you need to learn the next fundamental skill, dribbling. Dribbling in soccer allows you to run the ball past or away from defenders while keeping the ball at your feet. This gives you and your team possession of the ball. But in Omega Strikers, if you strike forward, you kick the core away from you and give the opponents control of the core. And you can't walk with the core for too long before your opponents catch on to your next move. So to dribble the core forward, you need to place yourself away from the wall and strike the core towards the wall. Then, as you move forward, you strike the core towards the wall again. If you understand the strike timing and angle, you can strike the core forward while maintaining control. Dribbling isn't limited to moving forward with the core. You can dribble in place to find a better angle to strike or pass, or you can dribble backwards if the opponent is threatening to steal the core from you. You can also mix up your dribbling using your abilities to throw off your opponent's positioning and strike timing. Dribbling can set you up for your own plays when given the opportunity, but if you dribble for too long, the opponent can steal the core while you're dribbling or stun you with their abilities to knock the core out of your possession. So what do you do when you're about to lose control of the core? Pass. Passing is another fundamental skill you must learn in Omega Strikers. No matter how skilled you are at controlling the core, you will not be a 1v2 duel. You cannot brute force barriers or score against certain characters if the goalie knows what they're doing. You cannot continue ping-ponging the opponent expecting them to eventually whiff. You cannot win by yourself. You're simply not him. Omega Strikers is a 3v3 game with teams consisting of one goalie and two forwards. It is essential that you coordinate passes with your team. If you feel like you're at a disadvantage in an ongoing strike war, you can pass the core to an open teammate to pass around the opponent, let them strike war their opponent, or declare into an open space. Passing places a lot of trust into your teammates, which might be difficult for some players to adjust to. But passing greatly rewards the team by moving forward, applying pressure to the opponent's barriers, and providing an opportunity to score. You can refrain from passing to your teammates if you believe they cannot react to your passes and maintain control of the core when it reaches them. The problem is that your odds of winning a match will drop. There are, however, situations where passing is not the correct play. Your opponent might catch on to how your team coordinates and attempt to intercept your passes. In this case, it is acceptable to play selfishly and try to find a better opening to pass or even score as your team moves forward with the core. The last thing I learned while watching the VOD was how to score better. Striking the core at the goalie might work in a low elo, but in the mid to high elo, the goalie is always ready to defend the core. Reactable strikes towards the goalie will be blocked. Usually the goalie stations at the middle of the goal to cover the most ground possible. Other times they will position at the corner of the goal where the core is to clear outwards to their defending forward. Shooting around the goalie is an obvious strategy to scoring goals, but there are methods to increase your chances of scoring. Striking the core towards the corners of the goal will create the largest gap between the goalie and the core. This will usually force the goalie to walk the full distance or use an ability to make up for that distance. It is good practice to always go for corner shots if you're scoring with a strike. If a goalie and a forward are defending both corners, the center goal is your best shot. Another method to scoring is creating a 50-50 scenario between you and the goalie. You might come across a scenario where you dribble the core close to the goalie, almost engaging in the strike core. The goalie should clear the core or stun you with the ability to successfully defend, but their abilities are currently on cooldown. Their only defense is their own strike. You have two options to strike at, the top corner or the bottom corner. At such a close distance, it is impossible for the goalie to cover both options, so you must guess which direction you will strike towards. That is the 50-50 scenario you want to achieve. It allows you to score without requiring the use of abilities. Some goalies might prefer to use their abilities to cover both options instead of using them to stop your possession of the core. Others will use a strike shot goalie gear to cover both options. A lot of mind games can occur in one 50-50 scenario, so choose what you think is the best approach. The last method of scoring is combo scoring. Every character has a way to score a goal through a combo. The corners of maps can be used to set up the core's position for a variable scoring angle. You can then combo with an ability to hit the core into the goal. Some combos involve using both your primary and secondary skills. Certain characters have unblockable combos because their combos involve stunning the goalie and making it impossible for the goalie to save the core without evading. Combos aren't limited to using the corner, but corner comboing is the simplest and most effective scoring method. Reviewing this VOD helped me become aware of fundamental skills used at the high elo, but without understanding the advanced intricacies behind them, it became difficult to replicate them in real matches. I didn't even know these skills were considered fundamental skills. As a result, I experienced my first wave of losses and struggled to climb. It didn't take much time before I D-ranked from mid-diamond back to diamond, my first D-rank. I didn't understand how high elo players play the game and could not make plays I normally would make in the mid-elo. I tried my best to climb back, but the damage was done. That day, I realized I was not ready to tackle the diamond rank yet. Or maybe I was, because I spent another 3 hours of comp matches to climb back to diamond again. From this point onward, I never dropped back to plat ever again. I came back the next day to climb some more. I was still trying to figure out the fundamental skills I reviewed yesterday, but I made little progress. I played through my last match of the day, placing at 59% diamond. And it was this match that showed me why this core mechanic is so important to understand in Omega Strikers. Enter the Awakening system.
What can I say? Scoring is natural for me.
Before the match starts, everyone is given a choice between two randomly selected awakenings from the 34 awakenings in the current pool rotation that cycles with patch updates. After selecting, the match begins and proceeds as usual. After completing a set, a draft of 8 randomly selected awakenings will appear. The player with the most EXP earned on the winning team of that set is able to pick an awakening first. The player with the most EXP earned on the losing team picks second. Next, amongst the second ranking players on both teams, the player with more EXP picks third, and the player with less EXP picks fourth. This step is then repeated for the third ranking players on both teams for 5th and 6th. This series of steps determines the awakening draft order for each set. Players can only pick awakenings that have not been selected by other players. Because of this, players can strategically create their awakening builds or deny their opponents from building their desired build. You want to select awakenings that best benefit your character, aka your best slot awakenings. To determine this, you can view what type of ability your skills are. Awakenings that affect these types will impact your abilities, making them stronger or weaker. Some awakenings impact the character themselves, affecting the character's stats. There are also awakenings that contain certain conditions in order to be activated. The amount of available awakenings are pretty overwhelming for new players, but over time and through experience, players should become familiar with them. What determines a best slot awakening for a character is up to the player's interpretation. For starters, here are some characters in your commonly selected best in slot awakenings. Typically, you want to aim for these best in slot awakenings when selecting in the awakening draft, as well as denying your opponent's best in slot awakenings. But there are some awakening build archetypes you can work towards if given the opportunity. Some are great alternatives, others are not optimal but are fun to play around. Here are some examples.
Obscura!
After understanding the importance of awakening builds, I paid more attention to how I build my Ivy and Kai while denying my opponent's awakenings to the best of my ability. I consumed that knowledge and resumed the climb back to mid-diamond, feeling more prepared to challenge the high elo players. This was also the climb where I achieved my 100 total win milestone, serving as a check-in to measure where my current skills stand. I was a complete noob when I started. Now, I am a semi-experienced player with a lot of potential for growth, and it only continues from there.
Obscura!
I hope Estella's watching.
What can I say?
Aw, what happened? Just keep passing to me.
You're in the presence of a champion.
Just try and stop me. That was good, right?
I had climbed and fallen out of mid-diamond multiple times, but on the 18th of November, I would rank up to mid-diamond one more time and never fall back to diamond again. The climb was slow-paced compared to my gold and plat grind. I have been improving every day thanks to the basic knowledge I was able to grasp from the VOD and my current matches. I also improved my character's mechanics as I grew more accustomed to them. I felt ready to challenge high diamond and plan to not drop out of it for as long as I can. The grind must go on.
Your team is brilliant. Passing to me.
I was now one division away from accomplishing my final goal in Omega Strikers. The Challenger rank was so close, but judging from my climb in the Diamond Elo, it would take just as long, if not longer, to achieve my desired rank. I played a couple more matches before resting and preparing for tomorrow's matches. Here, I was hit with another wall. I attempted to rush the Challenger, but I ended only peaking halfway in High Diamond after a few days of playing competitively. I would de-rank to Mid Diamond twice during the first half of the final stretch. I felt a little frustrated seeing how close I am to achieving my goal, so I decided to try to understand dribbling in hopes that this will help me climb. Then, I had this one match past midnight on the 26th of November. I didn't know at the time, but it was around this moment in my journey where my identity as an Omega Strikers player would form in the Omega Strikers community, albeit very minor. Odyssey has multiple social media platforms where they share the latest information about their projects such as Omega Strikers. One of those platforms is Discord. Similar to other gaming communities, the Omega Strikers Discord is the main source of receiving the latest information while primarily hosting the game's community. It is a place to interact with fellow players, discuss meta, ask questions and provide suggestions, etc. It is also a place to talk to your teammates and opponents during the match or while you queue for a match. My first mention in the Discord wasn't the most friendly, and for good reason. This was back when I was climbing the mid-diamond for the first time before I discovered the fundamentals. Based on the messages, I was a known creature, and some players were aware to watch out for having me as a teammate. Besides some GG mentions and a praise, it has been 13 days since that first mention, and I have improved my gameplay since. On the 26th of November, I was once again mentioned in the Discord. One of the opponents in my ongoing match, Kaiju Hunter, wanted his forwards to KO me instead of our Juliet because I was carrying our team. My goalie in the match opposed the idea because I was allowing our team to win, and our Juliet was sabotaging our sets. After a long struggle, Kaiju's team won by the very last round. Kaiju believed I was a Smurf due to my double-digit account. I promise this is the last time someone assumes I'm a Smurf. I treated the loss as one of my usual losses and continued to queue. That was when I received a red notification, one that would change my Omega Strikers career and my life forever. The person that sent a friend request to me was none other than Kaiju Hunter. Despite his initial assumption that I was a Smurf, he complimented my aiming skills. I cleared the misconception again, and he was genuinely impressed with what I had achieved so far. He couldn't find anything to critique about my gameplay during the match, but truth be told, there were a lot of improvements to be made that I was not aware of yet. He was down to dual queue with me in ranked after sleeping for the night. I also hopped off for a night after playing a couple more matches. I was excited to learn new things from him because I found myself stuck at a new wall and needed guidance. The next day, I found him online, partied up, and played some matches. Because we were dual queued, getting points was slightly more difficult. We had some good matches with our synergy and brought a couple of wins, providing positive gains. Kaiju would have to leave soon, but before he left, he provided crucial advice to help me climb. I had only discovered this information yesterday at the time, but never knew how it works. Here, he would teach me how to play midfield. There are only two roles a player can pick before they queue besides playing flex, forward and goalie. While each team consists of one goalie and two forwards, there are two sub-roles for forwards. These are brawlers and midfielders. The role of brawlers is to stay forward on the field, preferably past the midfield line, and apply pressure to the midfielder and goalie. When the core moves across the midfield, the brawler will be there to maintain control of the core and earn an opportunity to break the enemy barriers or score a goal. Brawlers typically have the easiest methods of breaking barriers and scoring because their melee kits push the core and stun the goalie. Characters such as Juliet, Zentaro, and X fall under the brawler category. The role of midfielders, on the other hand, is to provide the brawler more opportunities to break barriers and score while assisting the goalie in defending an attack. Midfielders have the most control over the core as they are constantly moving back and forth to maintain control for the core. They can assist the brawler from afar using range abilities to keep the core forward while holding the midfield themselves in case the brawler loses possession of the core. If the core moves past them and towards the team's goalie, the midfielder will run back to strike the core or open up passing options for the goalie. Scoring requires more effort than brawlers, but it is possible. Characters such as Estelle, Nao, and Aimee fall under the midfielder category. Goalies also have their characters, but every midfield character can also take the role of goalie, which is why midfielders are more prepared to defend their barriers than the brawlers. The midfielder is the hardest role to play simply because of the amount of control they have over the core. If you gap the enemy midfielder, you are very likely to win the match. Kaiju would teach me the part where the midfielder should help the goalie when necessary, because not helping the goalie is a trap that most midfielders fall for in a low elo. I had been doing a decent job at midfielding before, but I was now aware that the midfielder role exists in Mega Strikers. I sometimes still prefer to play I forward when I can, so I would inadvertently cause my brawlers to midfield for me, including Kaiju when he plays Juliet. If my team is running 2 midfielders, my performance would improve because my midfielder can actually play midfield for me. Kaiju recommended me to wear slick kicks or magnetized souls because it will help me maintain control of the core better when I'm dribbling and engaging in strike wars. It fit my playstyle at the time, so I swapped gears. He also taught me that certain characters excel on certain maps, so I need to watch out for those picks, or I could ban them if I feel uneasy. It would take time to learn how to play midfield properly and use my new forward gear, but I was very excited to return to ranked. This could be the final puzzle piece to break through the high diamond wall. At one point during the climb, I was unaware that I could have been promoted to Challenger if I won this match, because I needed more than 20 points, the average high elo LP gain, to promote. This was on the 28th of November. I felt dejected when I realized my journey could have ended then, but I knew that this was bound to happen. If I was this close to promotion, I can reach it again and gain another attempt. Day by day, I played ranked in hopes I would find a second chance, but unfortunately I made no progress. And then, on the 30th of November, Omega Strikers received a major update. Mako was the final character to be released into the game, and along with that came a new map, new awakenings, maps and awakenings rotated in and out, awakening changes, and character changes. This was the first update I was able to experience in Omega Strikers. This brought back a surge of players into the game, allowing queues to pop very quickly. I took this opportunity to learn how to play the maps and awakenings I have yet to try while climbing to Challenger. By the next day, I had developed a good win streak. I was in a Discord call with Kaiju and his friends while I was climbing that day, and I found myself in the same position where I could potentially be promoted to Challenger. Just in case, I enabled my voice to be recorded. Will this be the match to end my OS Challenger journey, or will I face another missed opportunity? This is my second attempt at promoting to Challenger.
Oh god, what's going on here? We can't fuck with Farrah as much anymore.
Does she have tag flag?
Yeah, I forgot that.
Oh, I did not know that.
Maybe I can use it to my advantage by like just if I just normally timings like that don't work. But because
It is very good. Oh, my team is throwing, man. Come on. Why? This one's so close.
There's so many reasons you can point to why you lost. Just at the end of the day, you expect them to lose. No, you don't. But still, so it usually shows a higher level of like knowledge.
Our team was down the first 2 sets, but we managed to hang on by winning a set ourselves. I was prepared to face another loss and didn't believe in my team, but I continued to try regardless of the situation and held onto a sliver of hope that our team could make a comeback. It was time to end this 1 month journey to Challenger.
Man, I remember trying so hard for any sort of comeback. I even thought about trying to get people with, Fire season.
They're gonna be in right now, regardless of whether or not you're in it.
I don't know, I'm pretty loyal to fucking Crossfire, but at the same time, like,
You know, I'm
Demon Drive, kind of
Okay, we made it back 2-2. I could actually get the challenger with this.
Missile Pop Truck is literally just a snow special, but on a fucking primary.
Yeah. Ooh, that was a good hit. He did die for it. Why?
I didn't realize how far down we were. Good.
This is back on his right?
Yeah.
You might have to go back to that. I can risk it otherwise.
I think forward thought that we might come back.
Fast. Stand there.
It's done. It's done. I made a challenger, I think. Yeah, let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Still.
Finally, man.
Grats.
My journey was finally over. After 27 days of playing Omega Strikers in the competitive game mode, I have achieved the challenger rank. I started as a fresh new player and became a formidable striker within 1 month. I felt like I had reached the peak of my Omega Strikers career. Being amongst the top 2% of players worldwide was enough to satisfy me. I discovered an unofficial site that showcases the statistics of your account in the game. These are the final stats on my journey to Challenger. While the site to view these stats is now down permanently, Odyssey has made their own official website to track a variety of statistics, including your rank performance for each competitive season. Another unofficial site is available to view these stats if you prefer a different one. After achieving my desired rank, I stopped queuing and took a long break from the game. It has been over a year since I took on that journey, and you're probably wondering about the events that took place post-Challenger. Similar to ranked modes in other games, Omega Strikers' rank system has a decay system. Upon promotion to Challenger or Omega, your rank will decay if you have not played in competitive for a number of days. You can prevent decay by playing matches to increase your banked days, the amount of days you have left over before decay occurs. Challenger and Omega players start with 14 banked days upon initial promotion. Challenger players can play a match to earn 3 banked days and store up to 28 banked days. 25 LP will be lost when decay occurs. Omega players will have less protection, earning only 2 banked days per match and storing up to 14 banked days. If they don't play before decay occurs, 50 LP will be lost. If the player decides to use all their banked days, Challenger players must play 10 matches every 4 weeks to maintain their rank, while Omega players must play 7 matches every 2 weeks to maintain theirs. With this context in mind, I took a break until my banked days were almost depleted. Because I took a break, I immediately lost 2 matches in Challenger and lost the rank. In fact, I was so out of practice that despite dual queuing with another friend, Chocobo Yao, I demoted all the way back to mid-diamond. It was really bad, but I wasn't worried because I know I can be promoted back to Challenger in due time. And that I did, because 9 days later, I got my rank back. Unlike my first promotion, I was able to win some Challenger matches, proving that I was worthy enough to be considered a Challenger player. I would continue to play a couple more matches during the last week of December 2023, but then, I lost interest in the game. I felt bored from playing norms when I wasn't playing ranked, and when I was playing ranked, I could feel the skill ceiling right above my head, further losing motivation in playing ranked. Eventually, I will move on to other games, occasionally playing a norms match every couple of days. January of 2024 was a month where I had considered quitting the game entirely. I haven't felt any sense of improvement since December and haven't felt the motivation to continue playing ranked. I would only return to ranked whenever I think the competitive season would end because at the time, there was no confirmed date on when Season 2 would finalize. I just wanted to finalize in Challenger when the season ends. Just when I was about to go on a hiatus until the announcement of Season 3, I met a new friend that would reignite my compassion for Mega Strikers. His name was Mac. I ran into Mac in a Norms match very late into the night one day. After winning a close match as a team, he added me to ask an important question. Did I want to participate in OS tournaments? Mac was looking for a good midfielder to play with in tournaments. He saw how well I synergized with him earlier, which is why he mentioned the tournaments. I didn't know the OS community hosted their own tournaments, so the idea of participating in them was very intriguing. I agreed and exchanged contacts with him to discuss it next time. Later, he will introduce me to Red Volcano, a great friend of Mac's. Red will be our goalie, I will be midfield, and Mac will go forward. The goal for this team was to just have fun and chill with friends, and I was very fond of this idea. Mac would set up a Discord server for our team to chat and vibe together, but it will also be used to recruit new members for our team. We will place low in some weekly tournaments, but we will almost place top 3 in a tournament where players only up to high challenger can participate. These tournament experiences showed me that I still wanted to improve my skills, but just lacked the guidance needed to improve. Most of the knowledge I learned came from external sources such as Discord and not from the game itself. Kaiju was able to teach me the general knowledge required to play Omega Strikers, but I needed to learn from someone that has way more experience in midfielding than I do. This is where Mac comes in. He is well connected with the OS community and knows someone that could teach me some tips. We agreed at a time to meet with my coach in Mac's server and met up when the day arrived. The coach in question was a player named Lunar Mouse. She is a very strong midfield player and has already peaked Pro League when she was coaching me. Even though I will only receive one coaching session, it was very impactful to my skill growth. I will learn how to position myself as a midfielder on many maps, restrict myself from using too many abilities backwards, fix common mistakes when using Aini, and understand the value of certain awakenings for midfielders. I was able to apply some of these tips during or after the coaching session, but it would take me a month for me to understand and apply the rest into my gameplay. To this day, I appreciate the advice Lure Mouse provided me with, and I have to thank Mac for sending me the right coach when I needed it most. I would experience a large increase in skill level in May after finally breaking down the art of dribbling. I became more attentive and patient with my plays and in turn, improved my fundamentals. I was recognized as a good player by Norms players in the Discord, but I have yet to test my new limits by playing ranked again. In June, I will meet another friend, Tani-san, and he will play a major role in connecting me with the OS community. He introduced me to many new friends, and we naturally formed a friend group to play Mega Strikers or other games together almost daily. Without him, I would have not met the amazing friends and players in the community I know today. I would return to Ranked in August to finalize my new rank for Season 3, and then chill with friends for the remainder of the year. These are all the events that took place after I had initially been promoted to Challenger in December of 2023. Before this video reaches its conclusion, I have been piling hundreds of clips I have collected over the past year to share with you. They are split into sections to highlight specific themes of the montage. I hope this massive clip montage of Omega Strikers is entertaining enough for you to watch it through to the end. Enjoy the compilation.
Is the director? It was a director problem. That's how there's something.
Oh my god, Vortal!
No, I'm dead again! No, fuck! Dude, Vortal's just better. He's the dribble master. I'm done. I'm dead. Doesn't let me finish my sentence before he pulls something off. His character choice is kind of questionable, but god damn, Vortal. Yeah, you saw that shit, dude? That was fucking stylish.
Oh, nice! Good thing you didn't let it go in my ult as well, because that'd have been really good. High no energy, by the way. Get fucked, Vortal!
You're dirty, bro. You're dirty. Oh my god, you're dirty, bro. That was mean. That was mean, bro. Don't ever do that again.
He said, should I do it again? He said, should I do it again? And he did it again! Vortal, you need to stop, bro. You're cooking them too much, bro. Oh my god.
Holy shit, her attack range is fucking crazy.
I tried to do a little too much.
I mean, you know what? Once this guy earns our respect.
Ooh, Mono special!
Like, dude, Asher is better than Julie. I make that character looking.
Apparently, this shit is unlike every other ability, and I can't fucking cast another ability.
That was my fault.
Like, I couldn't strike right after, because I was in the animation. Fuck me, I guess. Nah, I win.
No, I win.
What the fuck? Put it into record books. Put it into record books, bro.
I got my marketed.
Let's record it, bro.
That was
great. Yeah, fuck. Close. I got it.
Tip Billy.
Ow. Oh no. Mortal. No, Mortal.
No. What? Wait, how did I? Wait, what? Wait, how did I die?
controller's low. Oh yeah!
Oh, wait, I almost killed him.
I tried to save you!
Technically, I have been out of that.
Hello.
Right, okay. No, you didn't.
What?
That is so true.
This guy had a muscle memory. I saw the ball move backward 1 inch. I just pressed.
Let's go!
So annoying.
Oh no!
Oh,
Thank you for the save! Oh, nice!
Thanks, guys.
Sure, recall that I played that.
You fucking X just playing like Pop Goes the Weasel or some shit.
I was afraid. Yo!
Zach went forward to me. He just, I was coming one side and then forward shot in the portal and then I was like, what? No, I'm not.
No way. There's no way you just emoted on him and killed him. There's no way.
What you hope to do? My team's set.
Calculated, calculated.
They're looking ready to get Scorpion!
Are you kidding me? Why did you do that? I was very not dead. What the fuck?
I had them dead to right.
Oh, my target.
And you know me, it's one die, yeah?
Fucking Adra.
Fucking four pillars. No hands.
I don't blame No Hands Marissa for that one, honestly. That was
There's
rude.
4
The
pillars.
Wicked just scored.
Oh, I thought that was gonna go. Oh, he TP'd! Oh, what?
That was nasty.
Oh.
Did they give up? Oh shit. What? Wait, what just happened? Get away from me!
The Vortal's staring them down like, come on, you know you want the core.
Where's this school going?
Oh.
What the?
The coordinated own goal effort is crazy.
Oh.
Are you fucking kidding me, Vortal?
Any fucking corner of all time, only shit just goes directly back at you.
And he made a straight perfect angle through my fucking burrito.
I mean, going back to what you said, I mean, it's kind of like... It's not really something... What the fuck is that?
How the fuck did you die? You were invisible.
Oh, finally. What?
You buy?
It's a midfield.
Guys, I'm honestly barely alive. The other two should be able to because the other guys, yeah.
Yeah, I think I. Nice. GG's.
My developers didn't expect that. That's what I
I had a different idea, but that worked anyway. Oh, that's fine.
Nah, fine. I have to anyways. That doesn't work.
It's done. It's done. I made a challenger, I think. Yeah, let's go! Let's go!
I was excited about a goal. That one had a little distortion on it.
Despite Odyssey moving on to other projects and updating Omega Strikers once every 1 to 2 months, you can tell they really care for the health of Omega Strikers. Features that weren't present back then, such as a friend chat system and voice chat during matches, have now been implemented. Characters still receive skins, even if they are just alternate color schemes. An official site to track account stats of OS players was created. Various season titles are awarded to players who fall under specific criteria, such as the most KOs in a ranked match. The game has stopped development ever since they made that announcement about the future of the game, and they don't plan on stopping anytime soon. On top of that, the competitive scene in the OS community is as strong as ever. Run by Bessie and Slot and staff, the competitive OS Discord hosts no-stakes weekly tournaments and seasons of the North American Strikers League, a league where teams of top OS players compete for prizes. There are also leagues for amateur and intermediate teams, named the Omega Strikers Amateur Series and the Intermediate Strikers Series respectively. Omega Strikers is still loved by its developers and community, and I highly encourage you to give this game a shot. If you played it before but haven't returned since, please give this game another chance. I hope my journey in Omega Strikers inspired you in any way possible, and I hope to see you in Omega Strikers. Thank you for listening to my story. want to dedicate this final section to the OS community, and then to the friends who changed my Omega Strikers career and my life forever. To the OS community, my first impressions when I initially encountered this community was very positive, and still remains positive today. I have never seen a community this passionate for a game before. I guess that effect is due to the very small population of players Omega Strikers still hosts. At the high elo, you practically recognize every player you match with or against. You take a look at my older videos, I come from a gacha game background. I usually avoid interacting with gaming communities because, from what I've seen at the time, there can be some weird people in those communities, and that is enough to drive me away from socializing with those communities. However, the OS community is probably the first gaming community that felt normal to me, at least from my standards. I was willing to join the community with some assistance, and that's where my friends come in. So, firstly, thank you Tiny for introducing me to you, your friends, and the OS community. You helped me connect with so many players from the OS community, and I'm sure they appreciate it as well. I never felt like I could ever belong in an online friend group, but you have proven me wrong, and I'm so thankful for that. You are simply amazing, and I'm so glad to have run into you. Secondly, thank you Mac for reigniting my compassion for Omega Strikers. I don't know if I would have continued to play Omega Strikers and discover my true potential if I didn't meet you when you were searching for a team member. Just like Tiny, you also brought many people together through your Discord server. I remembered how small it was when it was first created. Now it's a hub for tournament players of varying skill levels to chill in, organize customs and scrims, coach and review VODs, and most importantly, to have fun. Thank you for being such an entertaining and awesome friend. Lastly, thank you Kaiju Hunter for showing me the ropes during my OS journey. You're the most important factor in my growth as a player. Climbing the ranks with you was a refreshing and enjoyable experience, and the climb would not have been as smooth if you weren't there to teach me. You helped a brand new player settle into Omega Strikers and revealed the game's intricacies to them. You inspire me to do the same thing, and this video is the result of that. I hope I can help new players learn how to play Omega Strikers with this video, just like how you helped me before. We haven't spoken to each other for a year since, and I noticed you haven't been playing Omega Strikers anymore, or at least not as often as you used to. If possible, I would like to strike with you again, just like the old days.